Pause to read? Well, first off, bold of you to assume I know how to do that. Maybe I have someone to interpret these weird symbols for me. And second, why didn't you just say this shit? Okay, you're not trying to prove Bibble God. Good for you. Except now it's kind of obvious that you are going to try and do that. Well done, what a start.
My first argument is that our universe has a beginning. Anything that has a beginning has a cause to it.
Right, within the universe we currently inhabit, but anything that happens outside of our universe is one of them unknowns. You don't know if things outside of space and time, as we understand them, need to have causes at all. You just think that because it's all you know. Seconds in and we're already arguing from ignorance. But to be fair, that is always the case. These types are always arguing from their own staggering ignorance, even if it's not specifically the fallacy type.
If I point to a building and I say that nothing created this, you will look at me like I'm silly.
If I were to point at this phone and say, nothing created this, I would be right, because words have definitions, and sometimes those definitions aren't what you expect them to be. Also, again, that is a building within a universe where that doesn't happen, like an apologist making a good point.
The same thing were to be is if a waiter at a restaurant comes to me with the dish I ordered, and I say, wow, what a wonderful dish. Crazy how all the molecules just align themselves to make a dish for me.
Actually, if you were eating some kind of crystalline substance, they absolutely could do that. Well, not for you. Presumably no one does things for you. Like, say, stopping you from making this video, for example. Bastards.
So, according to an atheist and according to evolutionists, our universe began around 13.8 billion years ago, where something called the Big Bang happened.
First, evolution and atheism have nothing to do with the origins of the universe. The who do that are scientists. You know, people who actually bother to check how things work. And specifically ones studying the origins of the universe would be the ones who actually say that. Atheists and whoever else just likes to be correct then learn about it and strive to understand those claims. And if they do understand them, they tend to accept them because it's fucking true, more or less. The other thing about science is, of course, that it is subject to change.
The Big Bang, according to NASA, is where all matter was created.
While that is from a NASA website, I have no idea where you actually found it, and I can only assume that it is a layman's explanation or one for children, because if you actually know what is said about it, it is after the beginning of the universe. The Big Bang is the expansion of energy and matter post that energy and matter being formed. Look at that. A theist dipshit being wrong about something. Who would have thought?
Now, for something to be created, it must have a creator.
In order for a universe to be created, it must have a creator is an assertion based on literally nothing until you show me someone or something creating a universe.
So, according to NASA, the Big Bang would be our creator, or our God.
No, actually, according to NASA, you're a fucking idiot. And please, please, please stop pissing in their postbox.
Well, what do you mean, God? The Big Bang isn't a God. It's not all powerful. It's not all knowing. It's not all loving. The definition for God is simply creator.
No, it fucking isn't. There are a ton of definitions for God, but no one who's worth ever listening to uses a definition as simplistic as creator, because we already have a word for that. It's creator, you jackass. The only reason I can think of to use such a simplistic definition is because you are intentionally trying to straw man the people disagreeing with you. Stop it.
And a creator is something or someone that creates. Well, what about humans who create things? Does that make them gods?
According to your stupid fucking definition, it does.
No, I argue that humans actually form things with what has already been created.
Oh, blow me. This is just playing word games, not actually making a coherent point.
Because I'm sure a lot of us have learned in school that matter cannot be created nor destroyed. So humans simply aren't creating matter. We're using pre-existing matter to form different things.
First off, do not pretend that you understand anything about thermodynamics. And no, that's not the definition of creating. Otherwise, people wouldn't create paintings. They would just be rearranging ink on a canvas. People wouldn't be sculpting. They would just be pushing clay around. And you wouldn't be writing this script. You would be dropping random words onto the page and... Wait, now that I think about it,
Now, if you were to argue that the universe is eternal, then I would say, how come our observable universe is constantly expanding?
All the expansion of the universe does is prove that the universe is not static. And while it does suggest a beginning point, it neither specifically disproves an eternal one, nor proves it was created by anyone nor anything.
What many atheists fail to understand.
Lol, irony police, shoot this man, out of a cannon, preferably into the sun.
Is that the Big Bang Theory does not combat theism. Rather, it combats atheism.
No, the Big Bang Theory is a conclusion based on the evidence that says what it says. It combats essentially nothing. However, many theistic claims attribute the creation of the everything to things that are clearly not the Big Bang, whether it be because of specific descriptions or because of claimed timescales. Atheism does none of those things, and the beginning of the universe is an unknown, which again means it helps no one, beside the pathologically determined to squeeze their answers in the place of "we don't know," because God forbid you don't know something, even though he clearly made you that way.
Because if the universe is eternal, it means there has been no creator. But if the universe has a beginning, it argues that the universe does have a creator.
No, you argue that, probably because it's what you want it to be. It argues that the things we can prove probably happened and everything else is up for debate or discovery.
Because obviously, we know that matter can't be created nor destroyed, and nothing can't create everything.
You are talking about closed systems. Again, something you would know if you actually understood what the laws of thermodynamics are actually saying instead of parroting talking points from creationist dipshits, apparently. The universe is a closed system. We don't know what things are happening outside of it. And if there is nothing outside that universe, that's a pretty devastating blow for gods of any kind. While if there is, it makes a god kind of unnecessary if literally anything else is there too.
That is illogical. So if you truly still believe that our universe is eternal, why is the universe expanding? At what point did the universe begin expanding?
I don't believe that, and neither do many atheists/evolutionists. The answer most will give you is I do not know if the universe is eternal or not. I don't know. You know, the answer that an idiot theist never seems to be able to say because of book though.
That point, according to Big Bang theorists, is the singularity, where our universe started at a singular point and has been expanding ever since.
The singularity isn't what's there, it's the current limit of our understanding of what could be. It's not actually a thing that anyone who understands the science thinks is there, but a breakdown in how the physics we currently use work when applied to something so dense. Like the idea that these ideas came out of your head is clearly impossible, because they wouldn't be able to escape from something that infinitely dense.
And again, something had to cause this. Something had to have created our universe, because nothing cannot create everything.
Again, that's just conclusions based on observations that you haven't actually made. In science, we call that pulling it out of your ass, but I'm very sorry to use technical terms like that.
My second argument.
Holy fuck, this is supposed to be like 7.5 points and I'm already 2 pages deep after 1. Okay, from here on out, we will cover your substantive points and whatever you have to justify it until you say something too stupid to life.
Is that life cannot come from non-life.
Well, I would just love to know how you can prove that without sounding like an idiot. Spoilers, he can't.
Never in the existence of our history have we ever observed non-life bearing life.
Never in the existence of our history. That is like saying, well, I didn't see a robbery in the past 5 minutes. I guess they never happen. Human history is such an unbelievably tiny timescale compared to the geological timescale of the planet. It's basically a rounding error. And not to mention, you also haven't seen various extinct animals walking around. But to claim they never existed because of that is to ignore the evidence we have that they did. The same with abiogenesis. There is in fact a ton of evidence that points to the idea that life emerged from non-living matter in the ancient past. Just because it doesn't happen today in a completely different time and environment doesn't mean it didn't, or in fact couldn't have happened.
Life had to begin at some point. According to evolutionists...
Wow, whiplash. And no, according to evolution, you know, that fact about reality that we know is a fact because it happens. Yeah, according to true things, what? Let me guess. You saying something fucking stupid, right?
We have a common ancestor. This common ancestor is not apes.
Amazing how someone can say something both entirely wrong and entirely right at the same time. Humans' common ancestor is in fact not apes, because humans are fucking apes. But also, the most recent common ancestor for humans would have been some form of ape. Astounding.
Contrary to that graph you might see online, we do not evolve from apes, even according to evolutionists.
Again, right and wrong. You're a double threat guy.
Rather, an evolutionist believes in the idea of something called the primordial soup.
Oh my fucking god, doesn't exist. Are you kidding me? How old is this video? It's pretty goddamn new. Who the fuck told you that? No one, and I mean no one, who has even a passing understanding of the current ideas around abiogenesis touts the fucking primordial soup as the explanation for where life comes from. And while you're at it, you've demonstrated that you have no idea what a common ancestor for humans even is. Anything that came out of whatever caused life to initially emerge is the common ancestor for all life on the fucking planet, you moron. Yeah, we need to move on to the next one before he says something even stupider and it fucking kills us all. Don't deny it, you know he would.
My next argument is the fine-tuning argument.
Wait, I take it back. We can keep talking about his stupid abiogenesis shit.
Basically, our world is so perfect.
Ah, fuck, it's too late. Fine. But if my head falls off from all the cringing, I am blaming you, Stephen.
That it is exactly what humans need to survive and to thrive.
Basically, you are so stupid that you were created into a world where you read a book like the Bible and thought, that sounds good. When no, actually, what tends to happen is that people are raised in a way that makes them stupid enough to think that the Bible isn't nonsense, not the other way round. Same with humans forming on a planet that suits them. Of course it fucking does. If they had evolved in a way that they couldn't survive on the planet, they would be fucking extinct. And wouldn't that be such a shame?
Well, of course, natural selection. Humans have evolved to be able to withstand the environment. Alright, calm down there. We'll get to that later in the video. If gravity was slightly stronger, everything would collapse. If gravity were slightly weaker, everything would disperse. Everything is so fine-tuned that it's a little suspicious.
Okay, well, I'm impressed that he managed to actually preempt something without sounding like an utter moron. To follow up with, we will get to that, we sure as shit won't, because actually evolution and fake, which you just know is what he thinks, is wrong because of, you know, science. But the universe being the way it is could be because that's just the way it is. And also, just because the universe works a particular way and wouldn't necessarily work if it were different, doesn't mean there aren't a ton of ways it could and absolutely would work, and none of them necessarily require a god did it either.
My next argument is the idea of consciousness.
I feel like you would have to exhibit it before making arguments about consciousness, but sure, go ahead.
If evolution is true, if there is no God,
those two concepts are unrelated, you fucking spanner. Evolution being true is entirely unrelated to whether or not there is or isn't a God. Evolution could be true and there could be a God. Unless, of course, your God claims to have done the everything. But I thought we weren't talking about your specific God. All right, of course we fucking are.
Breathing life into everything.
Yup.
Where does consciousness come from? If all life comes from this single-cell bacterial organism, is all bacteria conscious? When did that life become conscious? And what gives something consciousness?
As far as I understand it, consciousness is simply an emergent property of complex systems. When a life form becomes complex enough, it appears to gain what we think of as consciousness. And no, it doesn't just suddenly happen. It would move through stages of awareness, from me see light, to hunger is happen, go eat, to wow, remember when that bear tried to kill you by the tree? Should probably avoid that, to holy shit, Sir Sick uploaded a video, that's awesome, I'm gonna totes like and subscribe, dude, radical. That's what humans sound like, right?
Just like life coming from non-life, we have never observed consciousness coming from an unconscious being.
Explains guys like this. Next. Oh shit, it actually is next. Way to be concise for once. I mean, you're still wrong, but yeah.
My next argument is that immaterial things exist.
Well, your brain obviously doesn't exist, so...
As an atheist, if you are consistent, you must agree that the immaterial ought not to exist, because just like life coming from life, immaterial things must come from immaterial things.
Well, here's the problem with your premise before you even state it. Aside from actually supernatural things, which don't exist so can be ignored, every single thing one might claim to be immaterial will be something absolutely rooted in the material world. Ideas might be abstract, but they still exist in something tangible, aka brains. They come from brains, and without them, they would cease to be. And even ideas that could be argued to still exist outside of an individual's brain, like, say, mathematics, would be like functions of the universe. And without the universe being there, which is the entirety of what we would call the material plane, they would similarly cease to be. It's all material. Next.
That free agency or free will cannot exist without a God.
So, what makes you think that I believe free will exists at all? As a matter of fact, I kind of don't, because of various facts about the universe. But more importantly, in a universe with the kind of God we're talking about, it definitely doesn't exist. Because if he can know everything you're going to do, you literally can't do anything else. Also, just before we skip to the next, for those of you who are completely mystified by the concept that I could possibly say that free will isn't real, and that everybody knows that it does, please, for the love of God, doesn't real, look up is free will real? And learn fucking anything about the philosophical chasm that exists between the two very real and distinct schools of thought on the matter that are both held by many, many people. Before you ignorant all over my comment section, cheers.
And now my final and most important point.
Let me guess. Is it... Duh. Am I close?
And my favorite argument against atheism is the uniformity in our nature.
Oh, hey, I was close. But to be fair, my argument was far too smart compared to what this is likely to be.
What do I mean by this? I mean that our nature is consistently the same. Not just our human nature, but I'm referring to all nature. Nature as in our materialistic world. Gravity, thermodynamics, molecules, atoms, everything you can think of that has something to do with science is consistent in its properties.
Well, yeah, of course nature is uniform. It would be weird if it wasn't. In fact, the very nature of the universe being this consistent thing, I would posit is proof against any kind of supernatural miracle-working God-man. Because if he's in charge of everything, it doesn't need to be consistent. It doesn't need to make sense. It can be whatever he wants it to be. But the fact that it works without his necessary input, it's like he's trying to make it look like he doesn't exist. Almost like he don't.
So if an atheist ever says, well, I don't believe in God, I believe in science.
Well, at least they believe in something that actually is real. Now, I was promised 7.5 arguments that do approving of the God-mans, so go ahead, make my banana peel.
And my final sort of half point is that if there is no God, there is no meaning of life. And I can guarantee you that almost every single atheist lives their life contrary to that fact.
And I can guarantee that you don't know the difference between there being an inherent meaning to life and making one all on your own. Because you're a fucking brainwashed, god-sucking moron who hasn't spent a single second actually thinking about any of this shit. But you sure are good at repeating what your friends told you was true. Good boy. Have a biscuit. Bye.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope. Wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the